Is it back to sanity or it's still insanity? We'll find out on this segment of the Gig Geezer. Today is Wednesday, December 10, 2025. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, thanks for coming by. If you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, thanks also for coming by. As of this morning, last check, the Gig Geezer channel is at 16,980 subscribers. So maybe YouTube is beginning to push my channel before more people, and every now and then a few people are clicking that subscribe button. Now, a little bit of house cleaning. I am literally leaving the Federal Express yard as I document this to start on my route. I'm going to another part in an area that nobody wants to go to. The area is called Ridgeway, an area that I'm obviously more than familiar with. If you go further into Ridgeway, you go closer to Lake Watery, and when you go to Lake Watery, that area is famous for no reception. Fortunately, we're not going that far in, because when there's no reception, oh boy, you've got to improvise. And that's the best way I can describe it. When I did Amazon Flex, there are a lot of people who belly ached about going out to Ridgeway. And I know in past delivery experiences, what I had to do was literally go back to the Gig app and say, hey, can you mark this order as delivered? And I had to show proof of delivery by a picture of the mailbox or the address, the actual property itself, and the actual item that was delivered. And that was on the Gig app, the last mile gig delivery app. Situation like this, I don't know, but fortunately I don't think that I got to go that far into Lake Watery. Yesterday in the last video, I mentioned about being out. I mentioned about the route being spread out, which it was. Today's route seems to be tighter, much tighter than the other route. That said, about yesterday, I had a 45-minute commute before I got to the first stop, and then a 45-minute commute back to the yard when I had to drop off full parcels. And then I happened to have a conversation with the sort contact guy who is over this project, and he had no problem with me returning them based on the fact that those parcels were not within my route range, at least for that route yesterday. So that was the right decision. So that's an hour and a half, and then according to the app, I completed 39 stops. And so I mentioned about the distance between each stop was somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes. So let's use 6 as the minimum, as the midpoint. I was out on route. If you just based on those raw calculations, I would be out on route for 5.5 hours. I was out for about 6 hours, about 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours, because I stopped at the store before I returned to get something. But my point is, I spent an extra hour based on minimum route time. An extra 30 to 45 minutes on route time. And most of that could be accounted for when I took about 20 minutes or so going over all of the parcels to ensure that I didn't miss anything on the manifest. Because what did happen yesterday was that I had to backtrack on 2 parcels, because it was one that was not on the manifest. It was not loaded onto my route, and so I had to manually add it. I had to add the 2 parcels manually onto the scanner, and then go back about a mile to drop those off from the location where I realized where I missed them. Now, can you imagine if I was finished and had to go back? I would have been rather miffed and been out of shape, to say the least. So what we'll do is we're gonna drive about, I want to say, about 35 minutes or so to the first drop-off location, and at that point I'll resume the conversation. Again, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Okay, so I am closing in on the first stop of the day. In fact, what I did intentionally was go in reverse order based on map optimization. The map optimization had me going to the northernmost point and then coming back down. I figured since I'm coming up this way that I would just take the last stop as shown according to the optimization and work it that way. So I'm going north, then east, then back up north, and then west and northwest, if that makes any sense. And I figured that where I'll end up is coming out on exit 34 or Route 34 in Ridgeway, all in Ridgeway. Now, one thing I want to share at this juncture is this scanner. When I did this in 2023, there was two sources that we used. There was a scanner and then an accompanying app. Well, the app has been integrated into the scanner. The only thing is that when you're trying to confer with mapping to ensure you know where you're going, this is off while you're in motion. It senses you're in motion according to GPS. So what I do is then my phone I use as my mapping source, which actually what I'll do is that's where I make all my adjustments and calculations. One last thing. So what I will do is, as you see here, this is the actual route according to the map form. That's how I made my decision. Once I looked at the map and then I saw where these stops were, the bottom stops were, that's when I decided to go start with the last stop on the manifest first, which is then I'm going north, then I'm going east, then I'm going north, and then northwest for today. I hope I'm making sense, but you will make decisions like that as you go. The goal is to be as efficient as possible while you're out here. You don't want to spend all that time out here on route because you're going to get mad, frustrated, and also we're about less than a minute away. When I resume the conversation, I'm gonna talk about how the people at Federal Express, they're watching all this. They know what's going on. So it's a matter of you showing that you know what you're doing. You can handle what's given to you, because that's going to dictate the opportunities that you have, or it's going to dictate the opportunities that you have. Simple as that. Now, actually, I'm turning into, oh boy, an off-road address, as with a lot of these places. I'm not surprised, but since I'm actually inching my way to this first delivery drop-off, they know what you're doing. They can tell by the metrics if you are performing up to what they feel is their standards. If you're taking forever to complete a stop, they don't want you, because that's time and money. Because if you're having to come back and return a bunch of parcels for reasons that are for the most part reasons beyond what I shared yesterday, where they were misrouted, that means that they have to put it back out the next day, and that's frustrating not only to them but to the customer. I'm resuming the conversation after now my second stop, and now I'm going on to the third stop. And what I'm doing is literally showing you the path that I'm taking from this customer's residence. It's a very nice home. I mean, you can make an argument that it's a mini mansion. It's a multi-level home, but you got to drive through these twisting and turning roads, and I can just imagine what a UPS guy goes through as well. And since I'm in the Geezer 16, for that matter, it really doesn't matter if you're in a Geezer 16, a UPS truck, or even a personal vehicle, like when I did Amazon Flex. I did it mostly in a 2009 Ford Taurus and a 2011 Maxima. All right, so I just took you along through a path that I had to take, leaving a drop-off, which is my second on this route. I mentioned earlier about the time and distance between stops. 35 minutes to the first stop from leaving the yard. 5 minutes from the first stop to this one. Now it's 10 minutes to the next stop. And then you wonder why I'm going in reverse order. This is the reason why. But you saw me going downhill and the twisting, winding path. Very common when you are out in rural situations. This reminded me of something I did back in 2019 in my 2011 Maxima while doing Amazon Flex. In fact, I'm going to shift to that particular footage that I captured upon completing the delivery, making my way back out to the main road. If I were to have described that to you just audibly, you would not have believed what I did that particular day. In fact, upon dropping it off, I had to go all the way back to this tight dirt road up to someone's house. I mean, it was I mean, it was off. It was off the road by at least a mile, and that was very common in that particular part of Richland County. There was a couple of addresses that I delivered to on multiple occasions, in which it was as if you drove along the side of a hill, and it was as if you needed to. It evoked memories of the Pony Express days, in which you would have ridden a horse along the side of a hill or on the side of a mountain to reach the destination. That's how remote it was in actual Richland County. But some people think that there's this very glamorous part to Federal Express deliveries or Amazon Flex deliveries or route deliveries of this kind. There's not a lot of glamour to them. I mean, there's not a lot of glamour to them when you have to go out to the locales that nobody wants to go. The glamorous ones are not even in the city, like downtown where you deal with the office building. Those are actually dreaded because you're in, out. You're dealing with parking situations, traffic situations, multiple parcels to be delivered. The glamorous one, in my opinion, is when you have these subdivisions. When you have entire subdivisions and you've got 20, 30 of them to knock off out of a 100 plus route day, those are what I used to call your racetracks, because you can get those done real fast and move on to the next sector or quadrant of your route. So we'll resume the conversation at some point. We're about an hour in today, and I mentioned that I like to think that I can get this done by 2 o'clock, and we'll see. All right, so we are, I want to say, less than 10 stops away from completing this route. And what I'm doing again is the rotation of parcels and all. I've got 3 boxes up here that are going to be closer to my last stops. I got a parcel here that's going to be next to my last stop. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stops, including one in which I got to circle back. And the reason why I got to circle back is because I missed the 3 parcels. There was multiple parcels. I dropped off 2. I need to drop off 3. The place where I need to drop off 2 is 5 minutes away. Then come back up. While I'm at it, it is 1:40, and I said by 2 o'clock is probably realistically when I should be finished. It looks like I'm going to be finished somewhere between 2 and 2:30, so I'm about 30 minutes over. Most of the stops have been 1-2 minutes away after the last time I checked in. After going 5 minutes back in the other direction, drop off to 3. The other stops should all be like 2-3 minutes away, 1 to 3 minutes away as well. So we should be finishing short order. Cab. These are, I believe, going to be like among the last 2 stops here, and then these are stops in succession. These along here, these three here are the ones I got to go back 5 minutes, and then there's one by itself that should be closer to the last stops as well. All of these have been in Ridgeway. All of these have been in Ridgeway. The route has been relatively tight, much tighter than yesterday, but it still takes time. I mean, I've had some winding roads that I showed earlier, and you can't get around those, but all in the day of doing Federal Express delivery. While I'm at it, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome comments in the section below. More than likely, I'll resume the conversation from the last stop and as I'm leaving Ridgeway. So I'm back at the yard, the Federal Express yard, and the reason why I'm back is because I had to drop off a parcel that was, I can't say that it was misrouted, but based on the technicality, in that this was to go to post office in Ridgeway, but the staff said that they could not accept it because there was no P.O. box, which I understand. They got to have a P.O. box for it to go to, because the postal system is, you have only P.O. boxes. And that's their policy. I get that, and I say that with a lot of personal knowledge, and I'll just throw it out there that my mother and her sister, my aunt, both retired from the U.S. postal system, and both my sisters are current employees of the postal system. And also, I took the test, passed it, and was actually contacted about working there, but I had opted to go to Texas Southern by the time I got notification. Well, anyway, this day almost went according to how I predicted, in that I said that it would take me probably I said ideally 1 o'clock, but more realistically 2 o'clock. I was done at 2:30, at least all my deliveries at 2:30. It's now 3:30, meaning that I had to drive all the way back over here, but for all intents and purposes, I was done at 2:30, although I could not log out end of day until 3:30. Yeah, you know, it is what it is there. But yet another day is in the books. We'll see what happens tomorrow. So far, so good. I mean, I can't complain. I keep saying, I'm getting territory that people don't want. In fact, when I dropped off the box about 20 minutes ago, the guy said, "Oh, you got Ridgeway?" Yeah, I done that. Obviously, it's Ridgeway, Winsboro, Jenkinsville. There's probably a few others from this sort center that people don't like, or at least warehouse center where people don't like. It is what it is. Blythewood, certain parts of Blythewood, because Blythewood, while it is a small town in population, it covers a lot of area, and I've not gone into that conversation yet. But another day is in the books. Last I checked, the Gig Geezer channel is now over 16,980 subscribers. So thanks for suffering along with me in that regard. It would be nice if the YouTube channel starts pushing the Gig Geezer channel once again. But the only way that's going to happen, at least for the time being, is that you got to hit the subscribe button. You got to put comments in the section below. You got to give the content a thumbs up, and you got to share the content among others. So with that, this is yet another segment of the Gig Geezer. May your grind, may your hustle, and may your business continue. I'm Inwood Lane.